Welcome back to the Physical Therapy San Pedro podcast. This is episode 66, and today we are discussing what it takes to be built for the podium and compete at the Olympic level. I am your host, Dr. Janae Brown, and I am joined by Josh Hartman.
Hello, everyone.
Josh Hartman is a Team elite cyclist See, I'm going to mess up. Yep, I told you. An elite cyclist training as part of the national team, aiming for the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. I told him I was going to screw that up. It was a lot of words. So Josh started cycling at the age of 12, inspired by a cousin who competed as an Olympic cyclist. He has over 14 years of experience in the sport, competing at a high level. Josh survived a near-death accident at 15 that left him in a coma for 3 weeks. He's defied medical advice, returning to cycling and resumed training within that year. And he ran his first road race exactly 1 year after his accident, which is pretty amazing. Josh is known for his resilience, mental toughness, ability to perform under pressure, and he is fueled by a strong support system of coaches, teammates, friends, and family in New York. Josh, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So Josh and I met in 2022. I was asked by Dr. Kreisworth, who is a ATC, and is well known in the community of rehab, to be a part of the USA track cycling team, a medical team. Not on the team, just the medical team. And so he asked us to participate in the training camps. The coach at the time asked Dr. Kreisworth to put together a team of PTs and ATCs that could come on site to the Velo Center, which is where the USA track cycling team was training, and basically be a support to the team with acute and chronic rehab, essentially being there just in case an acute injury happened, off the bike, anything that might have been more needed immediate medical attention. And then also just treating and supporting the athletes, like ongoing chronic injuries, things that were coming up in their training that they might need support on, so they could just be better out there in their training. So we started doing that with them in 2022, and we were there probably twice a week during the 6-week training camps. And I think we did that 2022, 2023, and then the beginning of 2024. At that time, the team got a new coach, and they just changed a little bit of strategy at that point. So, but I got to know Josh really well. I also got the opportunity to work with him in our clinic. He came in with some help to get some help for a few injuries over that time span as well. So got to know each other well, and I've he's an amazing, resilient athlete. I really admire him, and so I asked him to come and talk to me about what it takes to become an Olympic, compete at the Olympic level, because it's not easy, and he's done it. And so this conversation is just going to be conversation about resilience, hard work, overcoming injuries, things that it takes behind the scenes to get where Josh has gotten to this point. So Josh, let's start with your journey to Team USA. I've been doing a lot of talking. It's time for you to start chatting, my friend. Okay, so talk to me about how cycling started for you.
Well, thank you for the amazing introduction. I appreciate it. Yes. I got into cycling through a cousin of mine. He is a former Olympian, and I just wanted to follow in his footsteps. Everything came about as like a joke. He came over one day and was just like, "Oh, you'll never be able to beat me in a bike race." And I'm like, "Yes, I am. Yes, I can. Like, you're an old guy. Like, no way you're going to be faster than me, right?" So he took me out to Prospect Park, and I just fell in love with the sport ever since. And I'm still trying to follow in his footsteps and keep the flame going.
That's awesome. When did you realize you could compete at the elite level?
I'd say the moment I won my first race, which was my very first race, and just being under the mentorship of an Olympian and my cousin. So that definitely brought a lot of ego into it from the start, I'd say, and a lot of positivity. So I think, yeah, just having the right structure from the start gave me that.
What year was that?
That was that's a good question. Probably 2014 or something.
2014. And let's give your cousin a shout out. What's his name?
Randolph Toussaint.
Randolph
Yeah.
Toussaint.
Yeah. Randolph Toussaint.
Thank you, Randolph. You look what you did.
Yeah,
this
look
is
what you did, man.
Look what you did. Look what you did. You inspired someone to be really, really great. So kudos to you. Was there ever a time? Oh, well, let's go to the next question. What were the biggest turning points that got you in, onto Team USA? So what are some of the things that like happened that brought you to the point to being on Team USA?
I'd say the biggest thing for me was my last year as a junior rider. I did very well at nationals, and then I was scouted by the national team coach at the time, Bill Huck. And basically he was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna extend an invite for you to come out to Colorado Springs and train with the national team." And at the time, I was just 18, and I've traveled a lot, but I've never been that far in the U.S. So I was like, okay, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Just take it and run with it. I had no clue what I was signing up for, but I just like figured out a way how to get out to Colorado Springs and moved in a house with two of my best friends, and yeah, we made it happen.
So cool. And the journey from Colorado Springs to like come to Carson and train in the Velo Center, what was that? How did you guys get from there to there?
The journey from Colorado Springs to LA, it was rough, but it was fun. We had a great time. The program had ended in Colorado Springs, and then it got revamped and moved to LA. Coach Aaron had just came over to the US, and he was building everything from ground up, and he'd reached out and was like, "Hey, come out to a camp." And yeah, I came out, and we just ever since then we just kept it going and build what we have today.
Awesome. Was there ever a moment that you quit, almost didn't continue?
Yeah, there's been many times where I've thought about quitting, right? Like in sport, I feel like one of the things you're gonna have to deal with is going through every single emotion. It's like there's gonna be great days, there's gonna be bad days. There's days when you don't want to show up, but that's part of the process. I'd be lying and saying if I never wanted to quit. But yeah, we just never give up and never quit. That's what it takes.
I love that. That's why I love you as an athlete. Okay, so let's go into some injuries, some setbacks, some growth that you might have had. One thing I got to see working with you is how you handled setbacks. So you had a few, primarily the ones that I saw when we started working together were what was your back and your wrist. I feel like you had some just, I would call it like some just chronic, and it was maybe acute, but it kept going on during the time I saw you, like mid back pain and wrist pain. And I think, you we talk about a little bit about what that was from. It could have been overtraining a little bit. But what would you say you've had, a few things. So what would you say your most significant injury that you can remember is, and, when did that happen? And tell me a little bit about that. Give me, frame it up for me about, and talk to me about that injury.
I would say leading into 2023 Pan Am Games, I had a major back issue that basically made me reassess everything and question everything I was doing. And it forced me to take some time off and do a lot of PT and recovery.
Yeah. And that was the one that I saw you for. You said that you came in like a couple weeks before the competition, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did some rehab. I remember you telling me you were going to stop strength training because that was part of your programming. So you stopped doing that. What else did you stop doing?
I stopped doing stuff on the bike and focused more on doing PT and recovery and resting. Because I feel at that time, it was it was very important to rest because we'd already done all of the hard training and hard work, and it made no sense to like keep pushing and try to squeeze more. And do more damage to my body leaving it in the comp.
Did you think that did you have concerns about competing? Like, did you think you were going to actually be able to compete? Or
at the time I was all up in my head. I thought I wasn't gonna race. I was questioning everything, but it was one of those like, okay, you just have to trust the process and believe in yourself. In the moment, like for every athlete, you're just like spiraling down and just worried about what's gonna happen and like, am I actually gonna be able to perform on race day? So yeah, I went through all of those feelings of dealing with injuries during that time.
Yeah. What did that process teach you about your body?
It taught me a lot. One of the things I would say is that like you have to listen to your body. The moment something don't feel right, don't keep pushing. Don't try to get that extra rep in. Just like listen to your body. Take time off, do the proper recovery, even when you don't want to do it. Like there's stuff that you have to do. When you don't want to do it, you just have to get it done.
Yeah. I just like my perspective of you during that time was you were very resilient, and I do think you're in tune with your body. But the other thing I thought that was really stood out for me is that you don't really let pain control you. Like I just feel like even before probably that big injury, like the little things that came up, you didn't stop. Like, I think you have to have a very strong mental aptitude to compete at the level that you're at, and kind of understand that I'm going to have these things that are going to be roadblocks, but like I'm going to keep going, and I'm not going to give up. And I think that's what I saw, like as, someone from the outside watching as athlete, that I felt like has really contributed to your success.
I think so too. You need that as an athlete to be able to push barriers and get better. Because if you're constantly like complaining about, oh, this hurt, that hurts, right? Like you won't make progress. One example is I feel like you're gonna always go into a race with some kind of injury, right? Like feeling everything is not gonna be 100%. But your job is to like minimize that and make it as comfortable as you can. But I feel like at this level, you're always gonna have some kind of minor injury. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And did those experiences that you've had in terms of setbacks and injuries change how you train and recover now?
Yes, it was all a learning process, honestly. Yeah, now I cool down, I take my time with stuff, I listen to my body more. When something do come up, I don't panic as much because I've been here before. I've learned from the past and everything. So I use what I've learned to help navigate whatever I'm going through at the time, whatever injury it is. So
how about asking for help? Are you better at asking for help?
A little. As athletes, that's tough for us, but yeah, you need, like now I ask for help. You need a support team. You can't get it done by yourself. So that was definitely a learning process. It's just like, hey, reach out for help. You've got injuries, you need stuff. So
yeah. I mean, definitely like the challenge with an athlete as you're pursuing and working towards being elite and having support is just budget, finances, like all the things that you need, that, it's expensive to get help, right? So having a good system, and support system in place during that process is important. So I think it's probably hard to ask for help for those reasons too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about your mindset, discipline, performance. What do you think separates you from other elite cyclists?
I'd say grit and my upbringing and background. I think that's what separates me from other athletes.
Background. Elaborate.
Just like having my cousin, right, and wanting to follow in his footsteps, like that's something I've always been thriving for, and being a role model and just like, yeah, trying to be an example. And yeah, I think that's about it, really.
Be a good person in the world.
Yeah, definitely that. 100%.
Talk to me about your training. What does your training week actually look like? A normal training week for you when you're preparing for a competition or in a training camp?
So it all depends on what block we're in. So like right now I'm in a really tough block. I'm doing, so a typical week would look like Monday would be double track session, morning, afternoon. Tuesday, gym in the morning, afternoon track. Wednesday, road ride. Thursday, gym session. Thursday morning gym session, Thursday afternoon track, and then Friday double track session. And then Saturday it would be either gym again or like a road ride, and then Sunday off. So it's like a full-time job. And yeah, it's very, very taxing. But everything changes towards like competition. We would ease up so the body could be fresher coming in.
So are you doing anything for rehab and recovery right now in your current training block?
No, because I'm healthy. So, but because you're healthy, don't mean you shouldn't do those things.
Right.
It's part of my warm up, actually. So yes, I have been doing some PT work because it's part of my warm up.
What's your warm up look like?
My warm up is very long. I'd say
I will be judging you, so be careful what you say. You know, just kidding.
Yeah, my warm up is about 20 minutes. I'd say 25 minutes. Just trying to hit all the right areas depending on what I'll be doing that day. But yeah, I won't go into details.
Does it have bird dogs in there and some?
Yes, still bird dogs
and some spine stuff, some book openers, all of the good things that you learned. I think too, like you probably can say like some of the PT process is like almost like adding tools to your toolbox. So you deal with an injury or you go through something and you add these tools to your toolbox. You're like, I need these things in my life. And I think smart athletes, they learn and they put those in their box and they keep working through them. And that's important too, because you become less reliable on people when you're taking care of your body because you learned what to do, you know?
I like how you said, yeah, it's like a toolbox because now like for certain days, I'm not doing the same PT routine during my warm up. Like it all changes depending on what hurts that day or what might feel tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Learning the stuff. It's good. How do you stay consistent during your long training blocks?
Just remembering the goal ahead, honestly. It's that simple. Just remembering why you're doing it and just looking forward to the end result and trusting the process. That's about it.
It's good. Yeah, I said to you earlier, like, well, you don't really have a choice, right? You're kind of forced to do it.
That's part of it also.
So do you have a choice? Like you're trying to get to that goal, you got to do it, you know? What do you do when motivation isn't there?
I remember my why. And then I remember that part of the process and journey is going through every single emotion. So just being real with myself and being like, okay, I'm going to feel this way for a short period of time. And this feeling is going to pass. So whatever feeling I'm feeling that day of like, oh, I'm tired or I don't want to go to training, right? I'm like, okay, why are we doing this, right? And reminding myself that this is just a feeling right now. Because some days I go to training, I'm so tired, but I get there and I perform extremely well. But if I didn't show up, I would have never known or got that PR. So yeah, just keep showing up and remembering why you're doing it.
Remember your why. We all need to do that. That's for sure. Let's talk about training, recovery, and your support system. How important is strength training in your performance?
For us as cyclists, it's very important, just as important as on the bike training, because everything we do is about speed, power, being super explosive and fast. So yeah, that's where we get that transition, the gym work transition over to on the bike.
Do you prefer to control your own strength training, or is that something you do better when someone's programming for you?
Someone's programming. My job as an athlete is to have a coach and be an athlete. It's not to really be a coach and an athlete. I'm the athlete and we have a coach for that. So
yeah. I know that some athletes like to have it like programmed for them, but then they like to have the flexibility to adjust because sometimes the parameters that are set before them aren't either realistic or sometimes we talk about like there's been injuries that come from like maybe not good programming and stuff like that. So do you like to have a little bit of your hand in that, knowing that you can control some of that? Or
Yeah,
okay.
100%. I feel like that's the best way it should go. Athlete and coaches relationship, being able to give feedback. Because at the end of the day, as an athlete, you know your body best.
Yeah.
You know what's going on. The coach might not know exactly what's going on, right? And they might say do one thing, and next thing you know, you're injured. But if you know coming into that training session, like, okay, like my hips is super tight or my back is super tight, you have to communicate that with your coach so he could make adjustments on that day.
Yeah, I think that's important too. And I've seen the best training goes well. The training goes well when there's good communication and there's flexibility in programming. Because strength training, you shouldn't get injured from doing strength training. It should be something that makes you a better athlete, right?
Yes.
Not vice versa, right? So, and I know that even there's coaches that avoid strength, well, not at your level, but like, or in your sport, but there are these ideas that we should avoid strength training because my athlete will get injured doing that. But if it's done right, that won't be the case. So, so yeah, I think at your level, pretty much every athlete is strength training.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. What role does recovery play at your life? Like, do you need to recover daily, weekly? What is recovery? What do you think? What kind of role does it play for you?
It's a lifestyle. For me, it's like recovery is everything. When I'm not on the bike, I'm trying to recover. Without recovery, you won't be able to be consistent. That's where injury come from, like not doing what you need to do to properly recover, sleep, eat, massage, PT, cool downs, right? Stretching. So if you're not doing these things, then eventually something's gonna give. But yeah, it's a lifestyle. Because yeah, even when I'm just at home relaxing, right? It's like I'm thinking about recovering. I'm like, okay, I know I can't go out and party because I need to recover. I don't want to be on my feet too much in the kitchen because I need to recover for training tomorrow, right? So it's you're constantly thinking about recovery as an athlete in every aspect of life, I'd say. Well, for me at least.
Is there like some magic recovery tool, like cryotherapy, or is there something that is like a magic thing, or I think this is just something that people think sometimes that there's this magic thing. Is there a magic thing for you?
The magic thing is you as the athlete getting up and doing what you need to do. Because if you don't do it, like, yeah, it won't work. You have to be the one to like go stretch and foam roll and cool down. Because it starts there. I think that's the magic tool. You're the magic tool.
Yeah, I try to tell people with recovery, like recovery is about, there is no magic like recovery tool. You need to rest. That's like probably, if I say magic, it's like sleep, right? Rest and nutrition. That's probably your best ones, right? But after that, it's really what makes you as an athlete feel good. Like, do you enjoy going into an ice bath? Like, do you enjoy getting massage? Do you enjoy foam? Like, there are certain things that are really going to be person specific because it's really about calming down your nervous system and getting you calm so that and relaxed so that you feel recovered so you can go into your next session, right?
Yeah.
But that's really like athlete specific in my opinion. Like, I think some people love heat and other people hate heat. Some people want to go in a sauna, some people want to do a steam room. Like, I don't know that like physiologically there's a specific change happening, but it really has to do with this is making me feel calm and better, and I feel like I can get up and do what I need to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, Dr. Brown does everything.
She does.
All right. Let's go into your support team. I know that that's changed a little bit for you, but how does the people around you impact your success?
Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today, honestly. You need a support system around you. You can't do everything alone. So having the support team I have around me means the world to me, honestly. From teammates, coaches, family, friends, anyone who's just a part of the journey plays a major role in what I do. And has helped me get to where I am. So without them, you won't be successful.
Yep. That's good. Kudos to your team, your support team. Okay, let's talk about 2026, your competition focus. You got a big year ahead this year. What are you training for right now, and how are you prepping for some of these things? So what's the first thing you're training for?
So the first race on the calendar this year it's more of a fun race. It's called the SummerSlam, UCI event here in LA at Velo Center. It's free, so anyone who wants to check it out can swing by. And then next on the list is nationals. Last year, for the team sprint, me and my teammate did something truly amazing. We became the first all black African American team to win nationals, and we set a new national record on a 333 track. So for this year, we're gonna try to double up and do the same thing. And after nationals, we are going to do a record attempt and try to break the national team sprint record. Hasn't been broken since 2014, so we're stoked about that. I feel like it could be done. So yeah, that's the big things on my calendar this year.
Sounds like a heavy calendar. Also, when you said SummerSlam, it sounded like some wrestling event. I was like,
it's kind of like that because it's so fun that everyone's coming from all over the world to throw down and have a good time on the bike and go fast. So
it's fun. You're gonna have to give me those specific dates so that we can come out and support you, because I'd love to do that. So success for you this season, does it look like winning all these, like getting that national record, beating the previous attempt or whatever? What does it look like for you? What does success look like for you this season?
Success for me this season looks like being able to check all the boxes, doing everything right. Even if certain things don't play out the way we wanted to, being able to look back and be like, okay, we did everything we possibly could leading into the event and made sure we did everything right. That's what success looks like for me, being able to check off all the boxes and look back and not have regrets or be like, oh man, we should have done this, we should have done that. So
okay. And not getting injured.
Yes, definitely not getting injured. 100% success right there.
That's what I want for you. So my own personal selfish goal. Okay, so let's rapid fire. I'm going to ask you quick questions, and you're going to tell me a couple word answer. One thing you never skip.
A meal.
That's a great answer. Biggest mistake athletes make.
I'd say putting too much pressure on ourselves.
Okay. Most underrated recovery tool.
Simple foam roller or ball.
Okay.
That goes a long way.
Okay. A ball or a foam roller. Best advice for younger athletes.
My advice would be whatever your dream is, go after it. Don't let anyone stop you from chasing your dreams. Along the way, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but keep pushing. Have grit, have patience, and be true to yourself. You're going to go through every single emotion, and that's just part of the process.
That's good stuff. Well, thank you, Josh, for joining me. Thank you for being someone that young people can look up to, who is resilient and disciplined and hardworking, also funny and silly. All the little things you guys don't know about him. A little bit of defiant sometimes. Sometimes doesn't do what you tell him to do. But just an athlete that you're probably making a lot of waves for people that are coming behind you. Definitely making waves for people that are coming behind you. And you probably don't always see that. You probably don't always hear that. So I have super, super huge amount of respect for you and admiration for you and your sport. And so thank you for joining me and sharing your journey, talking about injury and some of your setbacks, things that have held you back and push you forward, right? So it's been fun to chat with you. If you're an athlete and you're dealing with an injury or trying to perform at a high level, we want to help you. Our team is here to help. We've helped Josh along the way. He probably needs some more help, so we're going to talk about that after. But yes, we love to support you on your journey. So reach out to us, DM us. We are sports physical therapists here at Physical Therapy San Pedro, and we would love to help you, get back to the sports, the activities, the things that you love to do. If this is your first time tuning in, we have 65 more episodes that you can go back and watch on YouTube or listen on any place that you listen to podcasts. So go tune in to those where we talk about different injuries, a lot of great athlete interviews, diagnoses, things that you might be struggling with, and you can get some tips from. You can also go on our website, Physical Therapy San Pedro, and put your email in, subscribe to our email list, and get free tips and injury information from that. And we will include all of Joshua's
handles and social media.
Yep, in the show notes. I wouldn't say Joshua because I said it's like he's like in trouble. Like Joshua, yeah. He's not in trouble though.
My whole government name is out there now.
Your whole government name. I didn't say your middle name. Just your last name. I'm not giving all the deeds away or your birthday or anything like that. So we'll include all his information in the show notes. So you can follow him. You can come watch him compete. Tune into his journey. He's doing great things, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.